Hey everyone! Welcome to the Bold and Beautiful 24. I'm Alessio, and I'm so excited to have you here. If you love Bold and Beautiful, then you're in the right place. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Alright, let's dive right in. Sheila's awkward Liam and Steffy ambush, a bold and the beautiful twist. The bold and the beautiful spoilers hint that Sheila Carter is about to walk right into a tension-filled situation. It turns out she's going to ambush a conversation between Liam Spencer and Steffy Forrester, and it's going to be as awkward as you'd imagine. Sheila, now out of the hospital and healing from that gunshot wound to her foot, is already on the move again. During the week of July 21st to 25th, she'll set her sights on Liam and make her way to the Spencer mansion. That's right, she's paying him a visit, uninvited, of course. Bill Spencer may initially resist letting Sheila in. He's no fool, and Sheila hasn't exactly earned a permanent place in their family circle. But she did put her life on the line for Steffy at the beach house, and that's not something Bill's going to forget overnight. In the end, he'll probably cave and let her in. We all remember the chaos. Sheila did what she could to de-escalate a volatile moment with Luna Nozawa. Even though she ended up getting shot in the foot, her interference ultimately gave Liam the opening he needed. He managed to grab the gun before Luna could harm Steffy. It was one of those rare moments where Sheila came off as, dare we say it, helpful. With Luna's tragic end fresh in everyone's minds, Sheila may be feeling a wave of emotions. She might want to speak with Liam, not only to share her thoughts about Luna, but to thank him for stepping in when it mattered most. Maybe she'll even go so far as to absolve Liam of any guilt. After all, what he did saved Steffy's life. Sheila might also want to talk about Liam's health. He's still sporting a pretty substantial head bandage, which makes it hard to forget the recent drama surrounding his experimental brain surgery. Sheila could express her relief that Liam seems to be on the road to recovery, and maybe even praise the fact that he survived what was supposed to be a fatal tumor. Of course, Steffy will be right there during this impromptu visit, which is bound to make things tense. There's no love lost between Steffy and Sheila, and having her waltz into such a vulnerable moment will only add to the discomfort. That said, Sheila will likely try to keep the mood light. She might crack a joke about having only 8 toes now and show off her injured foot like a bizarre badge of honor. Strangely enough, Liam may actually chuckle at her humor. And Steffy, though tense, might manage a strained smile. These small gestures hint at just how complex Sheila's presence really is, equal parts unwelcome and oddly redemptive. As the conversation unfolds, it'll be interesting to see how everyone navigates the minefield of emotions. Sheila showing up on crutches and playing the caring card is sure to stir the pot. Disaster strikes in Will and Electra's romance. How Luna's shadow still haunts them. Meanwhile, another storm may be brewing in the world of Will Spencer and Electra Forrester. While things have been looking up for them on the surface, Luna Nozawa's presence is still looming large, casting a long shadow over their relationship. According to Lee Finnegan, Luna died in recovery. But if we've learned anything from Soapland, it's that nothing is ever quite what it seems. Something about Lee's story doesn't sit right, and fans are speculating that she might not be telling the whole truth. That hasn't stopped most characters from accepting Luna's supposed death. With the drama behind them, Will and Electra are hoping to move forward and put the Luna chaos behind them. But it turns out that might be a lot harder than expected. Let's not forget how deep things got. During Will's undercover operation, he had to get closer to Luna than anyone anticipated. That included saying painful things about Electra and even sharing a kiss with Luna, actions that were hard for Electra to witness. Since then, Electra has had a hard time diving into intimacy. While Will is clearly ready to take things to the next level, Electra's still been dragging her feet. But now that they've survived a life-threatening ordeal, Electra may feel like it's time to seize the moment. She nearly lost Will, and that may push her to finally be with him, emotionally and physically. Still, trauma isn't something you can simply shake off. As ready as Electra might seem, she could freeze in the moment, haunted by the image of Will with Luna. It wouldn't be surprising if she flashes back to those uncomfortable scenes and reconsiders getting too close. And what if the haunting goes both ways? Will might think he's moved on, but memories can creep in unexpectedly. What if, just as he and Electra finally get intimate, he imagines Luna there instead? That kind of mental slip could throw their entire relationship into chaos. In fact, This could be a clever narrative twist. Even if Luna is technically gone, she could still appear in fantasy or dream sequences, especially if Will or Elektra are struggling to process everything that happened. It would also be a great way to keep actress Lisa Yamada involved in the show. As we look ahead, it seems Luna's story is far from over. Whether it's through flashbacks, hallucinations, or an eventual reveal that she's still alive and being hidden away by Lee, her impact continues to ripple across the canvas. So, what do you think? Are Will and Elektra doomed from the start, or can they find a way to move forward together? And will Sheila's unexpected heart-to-heart with Liam and Steffy soften some hearts, or just make things worse? The Bold and the Beautiful fans want the real Bill Spencer back. Has the character become too weak and gullible? Longtime viewers of The Bold and the Beautiful know there was a time when Dollar Bill Spencer was practically untouchable. He was a shark in a designer suit, a man who always had a plan and almost always came out on top. No matter the situation, Bill seemed to have the upper hand, navigating corporate wars and personal drama with ruthless efficiency. But somewhere along the way, something changed. These days, fans are asking a tough but fair question. What happened to the real Bill Spencer? Because the man we're seeing on screen lately doesn't seem like the confident powerhouse we once knew. Instead, he's been written into a series of questionable decisions, and the character's edge has dulled considerably. Let's talk about what led us here. First, there was the whole mess with Luna Nozawa. Through a rigged DNA test, Bill was duped into believing he was Luna's father. Instead of following his gut and investigating further, he let his emotions guide him, and that was his first big mistake. Even after the truth came out, and Luna's behavior raised all kinds of red flags, Bill kept falling for her manipulation. Rather than keeping his distance, Bill took steps to protect Luna. He pulled strings to get her out of prison after her initial crimes, showing a level of forgiveness that felt wildly out of character. Luna's house arrest was eventually lifted entirely, and she was given a full pardon. That decision alone was controversial. And we all know what happened next. Luna spiraled. Completely. And in doing so, she ended up harming the very people Bill claims to love, most notably, Liam. If Bill had exercised a little more caution, a little more of his trademark skepticism, things might have turned out very differently. But that's not even the worst of it. Right now, Bill is knee-deep in what appears to be another massive con, this time involving Grace Buckingham. Yes, Grace is a respected doctor, and yes, Liam's situation was dire. But the signs were there. Red flags were waving in the wind, and Bill chose to ignore them. Liam was diagnosed with what was described as an inoperable brain tumor. It was sudden, devastating, and, supposedly, hopeless. That is until Grace swooped in with an experimental procedure that just so happened to require secrecy, a sketchy location, and $1 million payment up front. Even in his desperation, you'd expect Bill Spencer to ask a few hard questions. But he didn't. He wired the money, handed over his son, and trusted Grace without a second opinion, without checking credentials, without so much as a phone call to another medical professional. For a man known for his shrewd instincts, this behavior was baffling. You could argue that grief and fear made him vulnerable. And sure, everyone's allowed to crack under pressure. But the Bill Spencer we used to know would have caught the scent of a scam from the moment Grace demanded an urgent cash transfer. He would have done his research, interrogated the situation, and protected Liam from anything suspicious. Instead, he walked right into a trap. And let's not sugarcoat it, this was a trap. The so-called surgery was suspicious at best. It took place without a standard medical team, without proper equipment, and without any formal documentation. Grace essentially performed the procedure herself, with a silent sidekick of a doctor who barely spoke and seemed to vanish afterward. Now that Liam is miraculously cured and sporting a simple bandage instead of recovering in an ICU, the truth is slowly starting to come into focus. There may never have been a tumor at all. If that turns out to be the case, then Grace didn't just take advantage of a scared father. She orchestrated an elaborate hoax and walked away with $1 million. The question now is, how will Bill respond when the truth finally comes out? This could be the moment the old Bill returns. If there's one thing that could reignite that classic dollar bill fire, it's betrayal. Especially betrayal that involves his son, his money, and his pride. If Bill learns that he was tricked, that his love for Liam was weaponized against him, then all bets are off. We could see a full-blown revenge arc. Maybe Bill will go after Grace with everything he's got. Maybe he'll make her pay for what she did, financially and legally. And maybe, just maybe, this entire experience will wake him up, reminding him who he really is. Fans certainly hope so. Because right now, it's hard to recognize the man on screen. He's softer, more emotional, and yes, more gullible. And while it's fine for characters to grow and evolve, Bill's transformation feels like a loss of everything that made him compelling in the first place. We don't need him to be heartless. We don't need him to be cold. But we do need him to be smart, savvy, and sharp again. That's the Bill Spencer people tuned in to see. So here's hoping the storyline serves as a reset, a wake-up call that reignites Bill's edge. Because if Grace really did scam him, and if Liam was never sick to begin with, then the fallout could be explosive. And maybe, just maybe, the real Bill Spencer will rise from the ashes and remind everyone why he's not a man to be underestimated.